Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. Today on the channel, we are going to be talking about my favorite current series that is airing on Netflix right now. It originally started out as a YouTube original series, or YouTube Red, or whatever you want to call it. And then after the second season is when YouTube decided, hey, we're not going to do scripted shows anymore. So they shopped around, finally landed on Netflix, where they should have been the whole time. I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on that one. But they finally ended up on Netflix this past September, I think it was. They aired their fifth season. It was kind of weird that they didn't air the fifth season during the new year, like now. But I think it worked out. I'm going through a little bit of withdrawals, which is why for the next few weeks I'm going to be doing these lists. But we are talking about my favorite current series right now, Cobra Kai, and we're just going to jump right into it. We are talking about my 5 favorite episodes from season 1, and yes, next week we're going to talk about my 5 favorite episodes from season 2. But let's just get right down into it, talk about these 5 episodes I think are the best examples of season 1. The acting, the writing, the direction, these just stand head and shoulders above all the other 5 episodes in this first season. And when we talk about Cobra Kai season 1, we got to talk about my 5th favorite episode, which happened to be the very first episode, Ace Degenerate. I think it goes without saying, but this is the episode that kicked off Cobra Kai and just spun us into this outstanding series that we've come to know and love. It takes place 30 years after the events of the All Valley Under-18 Championship in 1984, and we see what happens to Daniel and Johnny all these years later. While Daniel has gone on to have great success being one of the biggest car salesmen in the Valley, Johnny has had a rotten of bad luck. He's had a failed relationship that involved having a child that he was clearly not ready for, and his life has just kind of taken a turn for the worse. He has a job he hates, living in a crummy apartment, just living not the greatest life, until one fateful night when Johnny's car is rammed by a vehicle, and it's towed to LaRusso Auto Body. Well, even before that, just thinking about things that happen here, Johnny gets into a fight with a bunch of teenagers outside the mini mart, saving his next door neighbor Miguel, who is a very integral part of this whole series. I'm going to get in this in other seasons, but the bond we see form between Johnny and Miguel is just, it's almost like a father-son kind of thing, even though Johnny has his own son. And well, we're not talking about season 5 just yet with these episodes. I'm going to do that closer to when season 6 comes, but we'll talk about that another time between Miguel and his father. But anyway, this episode just it did kick everything off for Cobra Kai, and then we just saw everything progress from here on out. We saw just a great arc with Johnny's character from this episode all the way to the end of season 5. Same with Daniel, because when you first see Daniel, you think he just kind of has changed, because now he is that car salesman you think of. But again, with everything that has happened over the 5 seasons, you've seen Johnny and Daniel's relationship change and grow many, many times. It's something that I absolutely love, and I love this episode. It was just a great reintroduction to these 2 classic characters and an introduction to some of the new characters like Miguel, Sam, Robbie, Amanda, everyone. It was just perfectly done, and it's an episode that I absolutely love. But it's not my favorite. We're going to get to that. Coming in at number 4, this was a great episode. It was the 6th episode of season 1. It's called Quiver. Up until this episode, Johnny had really been struggling trying to attract a paying clientele for the dojo Cobra Kai. He only had Miguel, and then Aisha joined shortly after that. But after after Miguel gets into a fight with bullies at school in the previous episode, which we'll talk about a little later on, it attracts the attention that Johnny wants. So you see Cobra Kai start growing. But on the other side of this, you see Robbie, his son, gets a job with LaRusso Auto Sales, and you see him and Daniel start to bond as well. So Robbie is doing this completely out of revenge to get back at Johnny. So, and Daniel doesn't know that Robbie is Johnny's son. At this point, Johnny doesn't know that Robbie is working for LaRusso, his sworn enemy. This was another fantastic episode that was just so well acted, well directed, great writing. Again, I have to really commend William Zabka and Daniel Ralph Macchio. I know him too much. I even know him as Pony Boy. No, he was Johnny Cake in The Outsiders. But anyway, William Zabka and Ralph Macchio again do fantastic jobs. They're acting throughout this entire series, not just this season, but has been fantastic. But we're going to focus on season 1 because it was just so well done. So yeah, Quiver is a great episode that really kind of expands on everything and takes everything to a different level, not a new level, but it takes everything up a notch and was just so well done by everyone involved. Coming in at number 3 is the 8th episode of season 1, and at this point, things start ramping up to a new level with this episode. Coming in at number 3, Molting. If I'm not mistaken, this is the episode that happens after Cobra Kai is reinstated into the All Valley Under 18 Karate Championship. If that's not the case, let me know in the comment section down below. But Johnny really starts training the dojo for this tournament. And then there's also a thing here with Daniel and his cousin Louie, who's just the best idiot there is. I absolutely love Louie whenever he's on screen. Just so well done. There's also Robbie and Daniel working out in the woods together, which is just a fantastic part of the show. I love the scene where Daniel's just totally spaced out doing the handstand, and Robbie distracts him. He falls and almost injures himself. That was really a really well done moment as well. And then the finale of this episode was just, you wonder what's going to happen, because Louie takes a couple bikers to Johnny's apartment and totally trash his car. He loves that Pontiac Firebird of his, but they totally trash it. And when confronted about who did it, Louie dimes out Daniel unjustly, because Daniel had nothing to do with it, to where Johnny takes one of the bikers' bikes and confronts Daniel over it. Again, Daniel had nothing to do with it. Now, in the next episode, this one isn't on my list, but it's a great episode. If I did honorable mentions, this one would be on it. You see a great interaction between Daniel and Johnny in Daniel's home, where they almost get into a fist fight, and then they're having breakfast, and then Daniel takes Johnny to the car lot to get a new car, and I love what he did with the car. Oh, God, that was a beautiful paint job on it. But Molting, another stellar episode in a series full of stellar episodes. Like, you're going to see that over the next few weeks with these countdowns. These are the episodes that make you just go, wow. And this next one definitely did at number 2. This is my second favorite episode for one reason and one reason only. We're gonna get into that in a second here. Coming in at number 2, Counterbalance. Okay, I said for one reason, but there's actually 2 reasons why this is my second favorite episode. First of all, the fight at the school between Miguel, Kyler, and his gang of idiots. That was so well done from everybody involved in that. Just everything just had a moving part to it. It was just a well choreographed scene. And then my second favorite part of this episode had to be Daniel's graveside chat with Mr. Miyagi. That was such an emotional moment. And this show knows how to pull those emotional strings, those emotional nostalgic strings. When Daniel's back in his car and he's sitting having a talk with Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid movie, it just does it so well. And God, great episode. This was also the episode we saw more people coming into the Cobra Kai dojo, even if it was just Aisha. But now you have at least Miguel and Aisha as part of the dojo. More would come because of that fight, but yeah, everything was just so well done in this episode. Again, I really have to give Ralph Macchio a lot of credit for the acting he did in this episode, especially that final moment at Mr. Miyagi's graveside. Just so well done, and yeah, Ralph Macchio does a fantastic job in this episode. Coming in at number 1 as my favorite episode of season 1, and this would definitely be in my top favorite episodes of all 5 seasons. This one was just a great way to end the season off. It is the season finale, Mercy. Mercy takes place on the day of the All Valley Under 18 Karate Championship, and you just everything going on at that time with with everything that happened in the episode before with Johnny, with everything going on with Sam, with Robbie, with Miguel. Everything just kind of there's all these moving parts within it. At this point, you found out that Daniel found out that Robbie is Johnny's son, and Johnny found out that Robbie was working at LaRusso Autos. So you had that tension going on between everybody there. At this point, Daniel has told Robbie to leave and never come back, even though in this episode, Daniel comes on as Robbie's coach for the tournament. It's funny because you see all these teams going in, like Topanga, like Cobra Kai, like all these other ones, but Robbie's coming in on his own, kind of like how Daniel came in on his own in the original Karate Kid movie, and how he was this one kid who defeated the top bad boy in Cobra Kai. So, but we didn't get that here. We kind of got a little twist on that because inherently, Miguel is a good kid. He does make some bad choices later on in season 2, and we're going to get to that next week. But I thought this episode was just so well done from start to finish. Like I said, favorite episode. All the fights in it were choreographed so well, especially the last one between Robbie and Miguel. I love that fight. Of the many fights that they have had, this is one of my favorites. And I mean, we're going to talk about my favorite one next week because that one, holy crap, that was insane. But that's one thing I really got to commend the crew of Cobra Kai on. When they do these big fight scenes, it feels important every time, and this was no exception. I love this episode. It is my favorite. Like I keep saying, I cannot stop raving enough about this episode because it is so good. The acting from everyone. Mary Moser, who I haven't even talked about yet this episode, she does a great performance in this. Again, Miguel's actor, I can never pronounce his name properly, so I'm not even going to try. Tanner Buchanan does a really excellent job in this. Again, I haven't talked about him much, but I'm going to talk about him more as the seasons go on. And again, William Zabka, Ralph Macchio, just fantastic. Everyone involved. This was just a wonderful, wonderful episode from start to finish. But what's your favorite episode of season 1? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd really love to read your thoughts on this one. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. In the description, you're going to see all the ways you can help support this channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and Reddit. You can pick up your Irish Bandit merchandise from my Redbubble store on redbubble.com. You can pick up your copy of Shade Falling now on Kindle and paperback, so you have choices. You can get that through Amazon, and you can buy me a coffee. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a brand new video goes live. Tomorrow, I'll be back with another gameplay video as I go on my first playthrough of BioShock. Thursday, I will be back with my favorite episodes of Season 4 of Criminal Minds. We might talk about Criminal Minds Evolution. I don't know yet, but we're just going to stick to Season 4 for now. And then Friday, I will be back with more Friday Fantasy as I go back into Final Fantasy VIII. And yes, like I said, next week, next Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about my 5 favorite episodes of Season 2 of Cobra Kai. So if you like that, be sure to join me. If you like this one, be sure to join me for that. Anyway, I will talk to you again tomorrow when we go into BioShock. Until then, take care.